In a world of ghosts and spirits, Samuel was a young girl who loved nothing more than exploring the wilderness surrounding her small town. She spent most of her time wandering through the dense forests and marshy swamps, searching for new creatures to add to her growing collection of sketches and notes. One day, as she was walking along the banks of a murky river, she stumbled upon a massive hippopotamus sunbathing on the muddy shore. The creature was unlike any she had ever seen before, with a massive head and a set of razor-sharp teeth that gleamed in the sunlight. Samuel was both fascinated and a little frightened by the hippopotamus, whom she named Brian. She watched him for hours, sketching his every move and trying to understand his strange behavior. As the days went by, Samuel noticed that Brian seemed to be growing increasingly agitated. He would thrash around in the water, bellowing loudly and churning up the mud with his powerful jaws. One night, Samuel was awakened by a loud commotion outside her window. She peered out into the darkness and saw a group of men gathered on the riverbank, shouting and waving their arms. Curious, Samuel slipped out of her house and made her way down to the river. As she approached, she saw that the men were trying to capture Brian, using ropes and nets to drag him onto the shore. Samuel was horrified by the scene before her. She knew that hippopotamuses were dangerous creatures, and she feared that the men would be hurt or even killed in their attempt to capture Brian. Suddenly, there was a loud gunshot, and Brian let out a deafening roar. The men scattered in all directions, and Samuel watched in horror as Brian lumbered back into the water, blood streaming from a wound in his side. Samuel knew that something terrible had happened, and she was determined to get to the bottom of it. She spent the next few weeks investigating the incident, talking to the townspeople and gathering clues. What she discovered shocked her. It turned out that one of the town's wealthiest citizens had ordered the shooting of Brian, hoping to use his massive teeth as a trophy to impress his friends. Samuel knew that she had to act fast to save Brian's life. She rallied the townspeople, organizing protests and petitions to demand that the wealthy citizen be held accountable for his actions. In the end, her efforts paid off. The wealthy citizen was forced to pay a hefty fine and publicly apologize for his actions. Brian was given a new home in a nearby wildlife sanctuary, where he could live out the rest of his days in peace. Samuel felt a deep sense of satisfaction knowing that she had played a part in saving Brian's life. She continued to explore the wilderness around her town, always on the lookout for new creatures to sketch and study. The mystery of Brian the hippopotamus had been solved, but Samuel knew that there were many more mysteries waiting to be uncovered in the world around her.